Hey guys, it's Jouelzy and it is time for Smart Brown Girl. Well, not Thursday. Smart Brown Girl's every day of the week. So, sorry for getting this up so late on a Friday, but I have been doing a lot more writing and I'm reworking my kind of schedule because writing is just a whole different energy from producing videos. And actually, this Smart Brown Girl topic, I've already published a blog post for. Yes, this is brought to you by Smartbrowngirl.com. We still have tons of inventory posted on the site. We have restocked some of the sizes that have sold out. We will be discontinuing some items in the coming month based on what doesn't sell well. So before we get into this, one, if you like this video, if you enjoy it, please don't be scared to leave a comment, and also thumbs up the video. I'm not so focused or concerned with how many views I get per se. I am just more interested in actually engaging my audience of smart brown girls. Secondly, I am heading to Ghana in the end of November, and I'll actually be there through January because I'm crazy. But in the meantime, in between time, I am totally available if you are interested in having me come to your school and speak. So if you are part of a BSU, the African Student Union, any minority organization, and you are planning any sort of panel discussion in the next month and even next spring, feel free to email me. My email is listed everywhere on every site. And yes, it really is tacos@jouelzy.com because I love tacos. Don't be afraid to pitch ideas to the orgs that you are members of. All these organizations have a certain amount of budget to bring out speakers to their schools, so don't be hesitant. I get tweets and Ask FM questions asking how people can get me to their college, and really it is through any student organization where you feel like the topics that I engage you guys on relates to the mission of those organizations. And don't forget I'm a Delta, so soror. I absolutely, positively love Snapchat. If you're not following me, you should. I really just be talking shit and procrastinating on Snapchat. You can always find me everywhere at Jouelzy. Last week, I had a homegirl call me, and she's about a year older than me. She's like 31, and she's a great career. She's doing the damn thing. She's traveling all the time for work, and she was like, you know what? I'm really kind of like thinking about all the guys that I've met that I've passed up on, or like I should have given a second chance to, or given more of a chance to, because I feel like it's my fault that like things didn't work out and I'm still single right now. And it made me kind of pause and think if there were like any men who I've encountered in life where I felt like I had like lost out on them because either we attempted to get to know each other and things just fizzled out, or things flat out didn't work out, or I met a guy and he just wasn't interested in me. Have any of these men I encountered in life, do I feel like I've lost out on them now looking back, from now considering where I'm at in life and looking back? And honestly, I was like, no. So I did a snap about this, basically saying how I had the conversation with the homegirl, and then my conclusions on how I don't regret anybody, and I don't feel like I've missed out on any guy that I've passed out in life. As a matter of fact, I feel like I'm the one who came out on top in the long run. And it really simply comes down to when I moved to Houston last August, I made a very poignant effort to work on my emotional and mental health and to work on my emotional maturity. I knew that I had emotional insecurities around vulnerability and trust. And so with that, in thinking about how I want relationships to manifest in my life, I knew that I was going to have to get over my insecurities around vulnerability and trust. Moving to Houston, not knowing anyone, I was forced to make relationships, forge new relationships as an adult here. And it's just not easy as an adult to make friends. And because of not knowing anyone, I've definitely made mistakes with the people that I have allowed into my life. But I absolutely do not regret them, because in choosing to deal with the wrong people, whether it's on an intimate or friendship level, I have realized my emotional growth and my ability to open myself up and be vulnerable and put some level of trust in somebody who isn't right for me or doesn't have my good intentions. Especially, I just literally dealt with a recent situation with a man who tried to kind of, like, he put effort into creating drama with outside sources because I don't know if he's fascinated with the YouTube thing. I don't know what it was, but my man was doing some talking that he should not have been doing and investing effort and manipulating situations to create drama. I sincerely liked him, and I walked into the situation with very good intentions. I was very clear and maybe overly articulate about how I stood on things. And I allowed myself the space to be vulnerable with him. And I still, even with all the negativity, even with all the evil that existed in that space, I walked away unscathed. If anything, I walked away feeling like I needed that lesson and I needed something so kind of over the top to happen. So, because I don't really have the time to keep going through small situations that I tick off one-off lessons about myself. Like, I learned so many lessons in that one situation that I'm oddly enough appreciative of the high level of dramatics that was surrounded in that, only because I have spent the past year working on my emotional maturity, and I was able to learn how to use my vulnerability to help me evolve into a better person. Now, it's a two-step process, and it really is going to seem so rudimentary and simple. It's kind of like this quagmire to really express kind of the philosophy. Ooh, I'm so sweating. To express the philosophy behind it. But the first step is identifying what you are emotionally insecure about, or just in general, what do you need to work on as a person, and realizing your emotional and mental weaknesses. It's a really simple idea, right? To be more self-aware of who you are. But for some people, that is just really difficult to sit down and have that conversation with themselves and own their shortcomings, because somehow having insecurities makes people feel more insecure. It's like this never-ending cycle. But really, be honest with yourself and put yourself in a space mentally of self-love. For me, it was being articulate about my emotions. Like, I don't like talking about feelings or emotions when it comes to intimate partners. I used to not be able to say that I like you. Like, I would like poke and prod and be snarky and witty and make jokes and kind of try to get you to say that you like me, but I go into a situation immediately looking for reasons not to trust the person. So I have a piece of me that likes to self-sabotage relationships. And so these are things that I knew. Now, I also knew very clearly what I wanted out of a partner. And if I want those things out of a partner, in that I want them to be open-minded, I want them to be understanding, even if they don't agree. I want them to, even when they correct me, always speak out of a place of genuine love and care and not out of a place of malice. I wanted them to be ever evolving and confident in themselves and have, things that they're interested in that don't circle around me having to be interested in them. I had this list of things that I wanted a partner, but not just because these are the things that a man has to meet in order for me to deal with them, but because these are also things that I need to find in myself. The second step is just to put it into action. Now, it sounds simple, but that's a hard part for a lot of people, is that, well, how do I put it into action? Because to them, it's like, all right, if I know that I have an issue with my vulnerability and being open, the next guy or woman that I deal with, do I just make myself more open to them? And then won't I end up getting my feelings hurt? Won't I be more attached? Like, I'm doing all these things because I'm trying to avoid the fuckboy. And so how do I do these things and then avoid getting screwed over by a fuckboy? There is no way to avoid it. That is what is hard about dealing with your emotional self, is there are going to be some points in the process where you're going to get your feelings hurt. Things aren't going to go the way you want them to go immediately, because so many of us don't deal with our emotional selves, that as you mature on an emotional level, a lot of your peers and associates are going to remain emotionally immature. And we all have the potential to get very comfortable with things, not because they're good for us, but because they're familiar, even when they make us miserable. Just because you might have less peers that you can hang out with on a day-to-day basis doesn't mean that if you continue on this journey and you make sure that you are forever self-aware and that you are genuine and moving with good integrity, that things won't just come full circle for you. I don't ever want to encourage people to turn their nose up at their associates or, kind of come out with a chip on their shoulder, because part of the process for me was getting rid of the chip that I had on my shoulder and always assuming that people outright don't understand me. Now that I've worked on my emotional maturity and that I'm, now a lot more comfortable being vulnerable and talking about my feelings and, letting go and not being so caught up on controlling things, I now have to get to the point where I'm not constantly explaining myself to people because I assume that they don't know. And really owning that the people that need to get it will get it. And I just have to keep on moving from those who don't get it. Ending, what I want all my smart brown girls to take away from this is, one, I really want you to make the effort in life to be cognizant of your emotional and mental health. Take time to be selfish about your own self-care. Just take the time to be honest with yourself. As always, I'm always encouraging you to keep a journal. If you want more tips on that, I also have a video and blog post on that. But really take the time if you need help. I've been talking through my process via Smart Brown Girl videos. That is where a lot of the inspiration has come from. You at some point will get your feelings hurt, and that is just a part of life. You cannot go around life trying to avoid taking risks, because the only person you're going to hurt in the long run is you. Because even if you do end up in a relationship, how is that going to be fulfilling if you don't even know how to fulfill yourself? If you're denying yourself emotionally, why do you expect someone else to not deny you as well? As long as you're aware of it and for the most part striving to do better, and you are embracing the process, you will see a return that is so worth it in the long run. Even if at one point you was on your knees gasping for air, crying over some fuckboy who didn't deserve your magic. And you only are gonna realize that 3 months after the fact, because we've all been there, we've all done it. It's fine, girl, but once you go through that, I promise you, the next Negro you deal with, if he turns out to not be it, you'll walk away on much higher ground. And it's not like it's going to be a continually reoccurring theme where you're always splayed out and laid out because somebody done hurt your feelings, because you have taken yourself on the process to shedding your emotional insecurities and being comfortable with your own vulnerability and removing the right for anybody to use it against you. I hope to see you all grow. Thanks for being awesome, smart brown girls. Deuces.